Welcome everyone to STEM Together, where we facilitate discussions involving industry professionals and students on everyday matters involving STEM. Now, today's topic is very important. It's so important because it concerns the future of our local delicacies like Chilli Crab, Sambal Stingray, cereal prawn, and the steamed pomfret fish. With me are two wonderful people with whom I hope to have this conversation on sustainability. But before we engage in discussion, let me first introduce myself and then our invited guests today. So hi everyone, I'm Danny from Science Centre Singapore, and I'm pleased to be the facilitator of today's discussion with two wonderful guests. Firstly, Dr. Ka Yi Ling, a prominent and prolific developmental and stem cell biologist who co-founded the cell-based crustaceans startup Shiok Meats Private Limited in August 2018. She was recognized as one of the MIT Tech Review's Innovators Under 35 in Asia 2020, the Women and the Ocean Changemakers Challenge 2020, the Great Women of Our Times 2020 by Women Weekly, and the Gen T List 2020. Ka Yi, how are you?
Hi, Danny. Thanks for inviting me. Very happy to be here. Thanks for giving me such a wonderful introduction, and very happy to meet Emmanuel and chat about sustainability today.
Wonderful. Thanks, Ka Yi. And secondly, we have Emmanuel, a 16-year-old homeschooler who is quite passionate about sustainability. Emmanuel, how are you?
I am very well. How about you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. Now, thank you both for joining STEM Together. I'm hoping that we can have a conversation on three areas: the Singapore Green Plan, on eco-stewardship, and the future. Ka Yi, what do you make of the Singapore Green Plan? Was there anything about it that spoke to you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Singapore Green Plan is really comprehensive. There are so many things in there, and I think it just shows that every one of us can play a part, and we need to play a part for this to really work, for us to have a sustainable future that for us and our children and grandchildren can live in. I think that's really important. For me, the one that resonated the most was the 30 by 30 program that Singapore wants to increase the local food production to 30% by 2030. And that's indeed what me and my company, Shiok Meats, we're working really hard on. So we work on this technology called cell-based seafood, and we focus on crustaceans, which are shrimp, crab, lobster, things that we love to eat in Singapore. But instead of having to use land and water in the farm, having to take away mangroves, which Singapore doesn't really have much space for, we can actually do this in multi-story buildings, and it will just look like a brewery, but instead of brewing beer, we're making shrimp.
What about you, Emmanuel? What stood out for you from the Singapore Green Plan?
First things first, I feel that the Singapore Green Plan seems to be a daunting task for many of us. But I feel that it's achievable in the sense that it is a multi-agency effort. And as Singaporeans, when we set our mind and heart to it, we purpose to do it. And by small steps, we actually get there. And I feel that the Singapore Green Plan is the right way for us to get to sustainability.
On eco-stewardship. So on a corporate level, Ka Yi, what does eco-stewardship, which is also tabled in the Green Plan, what does that look like for Shiok Meats?
I think for us, the mission itself is for sustainable and clean production of meat. The cell-based technology, it's kind of like a greenhouse, but instead of for vegetables, it's for whatever meat you want to grow. And we only grow the parts we eat, so we don't have to worry about food waste. So we don't grow things like the head, the shells, the heart, the liver, which most of us don't eat. Some of us do. In Singapore, it's quite flavorful.
Manuel, the government is introducing an eco-stewardship program to enhance environmental education in schools, as well as carbon emissions by 2/3. Now, as a homeschooler, are there ways that you feel you can contribute to sustainable living?
Well, first of all, it's the little steps that lead to the big steps, right? As a family, we also grow edible food such as basil, rosemary, peppermint, all sorts of edible herbs.
Terrific.
My mom does the gardening. I don't do gardening.
Okay.
So for water, when we use water, we don't use it extremely. What we do is that after we pour the water into a cup, after we wash hands, we can recycle the water and we can use to wash our vegetables for cooking. And that's a very good example of how we can.
Like when you wash your clothes.
And yes, and we also wash our clothes in the washing machine.
No, and then when the water comes out the washing machine,
Yes.
what do you do? Do you just let it go down the drain?
No, we use it and use it for other resourceful methods.
To wash the toilet,
Yes,
right?
to wash the toilet,
Yeah.
wash the basin, and
Yeah.
other.
Or like
toilet
even
stuff.
when mom and dad, when they make coffee, then there's like the
Yes.
leftover coffee
Yeah,
plants.
yeah.
Isn't it wasteful to throw it away?
Well, no, it isn't wasteful to throw away mom and dad's coffee.
No, but what do you use it as? To
You
grow
use
your
it-
plants.
Yeah, we pour like the coffee into like plants so that they can grow.
Grow, yeah.
Okay, let me switch back to Ka Yi now on the future. Ka Yi, what do you think 2030 is going to look like? I know it's really hard to answer these sorts of questions, but just hypothetically, what is it going to look like for yourself and for Shiok Meats? Will cell-based meats really have taken off in a big way by then?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big question, what we see for the future. And I think 2030 is coming really soon. And I think by then for us, I foresee that we will be in Singapore, in restaurants, in hawker centers, in supermarkets, our NTUC, our Sheng Siong, you can find it right beside our traditionally made shrimp.
That would
Whether
be
it's
cool,
farmed
yeah.
or fished, and it's up to you whether you want to choose us or you want to choose a different brand. And I think that's really exciting, and also that we will be in different countries by that point, having each manufacturing factory in the different countries. And I think not just for cell-based, we most of you probably have tried some kind of plant-based food. Impossible is really popular. In Singapore, we have some plant-based shrimp like Sophie's Nutrients. I think that's the main one. And, I think by 2030, you will just see in the frozen aisle next to each other. And it's up to you whether you want a coconut fried shrimp or you want a laksa with our shook shrimp, or you want to have, just a shelled shrimp to buy from a fisherman or a farmer, and it's up to you what you want to cook that day at home.
Right. What about you, Emmanuel? What is the future that you want to see? And what do you see yourself doing in that future?
Okay, to be honest, when I was younger, I really hated food. Okay, I really hated food like that. But now I'll probably see myself eating cell-based sushi. Cell-based sushi, Japanese food. Yeah, I like Japanese food.
Thanks for that, Ka Yi and Emmanuel. I think that kind of concludes our discussion for today on sustainability. We've kind of run out of time, but I've learned a lot from both of your candid sharing, and I'm sure the rest of our viewers did too as well. Now, for viewers, if you're watching this on YouTube and you haven't subscribed to our channel, please hit that notification bell to subscribe. And if you're watching the STEM Together series on Facebook, click follow. Now, remember to like and to share this video with all of your friends. Stay tuned for our next conversation. This is Danny with my guests Ka Yi and Emmanuel signing out. Bye-bye.